on NJTV.
The Great Migration and Racial-Based Rioting.
A special weather forecast on the spread of communism.
And what to expect from the economy now that the Great War is over. Good evening, I'm Sean Taylor.
And I'm Molly Simmons. To start with tonight, thousands of African Americans are continuing to move out of the South and migrating into northern, midwestern, and western parts of the United States. The migration was originally instigated by the Jim Crow laws during the Reconstruction period, resulting in increased segregation between whites and blacks. Along with segregation and discrimination between the races reaching an all-time high this year, the Ku Klux Klan is back in action despite the group being officially dissolved in 1869. The threat of violence and lynching in the South has been noted to deter blacks from remaining permanent residents. This migration is not proving very effective, however, as there have been reports of increased tensions in the North between whites and blacks. Historically, white communities are gradually becoming more and more populated by African Americans. Chicago homeowner Riley Thompson gives us her opinion on the matter.
I definitely think that there's a tension growing within the communities because of the blacks and white. Well, when black people are in my community, then they're going to bring violence. And I honestly think that they're dropping the value of my homes. That they're mixing in well, but I don't appreciate the fact that they are mixing in with my community. White people here, Great Wall of Chicago here, black people here, separate and not equal.
Riley Thompson there with her thoughts on what is being called the Great Migration.
Thank you. We have just received word that a black man by the name of Eugene Williams has been stoned to death on the south side of Chicago. There have been no reports of an arrest yet, but we will keep you informed as we reserve further details on the developing story. In the meantime, let's take a look at the weather.
This hour of MJTV is brought to you by the Stry Automatic Toaster. Ever wanted warm bread without the fuss of an oven? Well, now you can. This new device allows you to set the time and you're on your way to a new, hearty, warm sandwich. Just put your bread in, push down the spring, and wait for the toast to pop up. Please call 626-555-4783. Stry is not liable to any injury or death related to using this appliance as they have been known to overheat and catch fire. Please use responsibly.
For your Sunday weather report, we'll be experiencing some strong winds coming in from the western part of the United States as a result from the Bolshevik Revolution in Russia. We will also be experiencing some cold fronts, which will obviously have an effect on the United States weather, which will cause risks inside the United States. Now, the arrival time for these strong winds and storms will be unknown, but we are expecting them to be very dangerous and very strong. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is imperative that you prepare for these storms that could form in this time. Should this happen, everything we know and love would be destroyed. Our homes, our families, and churches. American life as we know it would be destroyed. It is advised that you expect for the worst, which means stocking up on food, water, and important family values so that you may protect your loved ones for the impact of the Bolshevik storms. That's all for your weather today. Back to you, Molly.
Thank you, Sean. An update on what is now being called the Chicago race riots. Fighting has erupted as a result of the stoning and death of Eugene Williams earlier today. We have yet to identify the man in custody who caused Williams' death, but we are aware that no charges have been placed on him. Objections by local blacks have been confronted by the whites, leading to an increased need for police presence. A mob of white men has just been reported to be marching in the direction of a black hospital. More details to come.
Up next, thousands of veterans are coming back home from the Great War over in Europe. Now, we will see them begging in the streets for food and money.
That's right. With this, there's been rising tension amongst the sexes and the races. Women are being kicked out of their jobs and forced back into the home, returning to the same life they had prior to the war. With this, there's been a great deal of backlash from the wives of soldiers, saying that they demand the right to live as equals to men.
Women are now leading protests in order to gain back their employment, and listen to this, working to introduce women's suffrage by next year. In addition to women, blacks from the Great Migration are now overpopulating cities and towns, taking away possible jobs for war veterans. We spoke with Eddie Reinbacher, fighter pilot, on the loss of jobs for the war veteran. My men went to hell and back again for this country and returning with nothing in return. I didn't earn 26 aerial victories and watch my fellow soldiers go through absolute misery to come back to no jobs. Is this the true American way?
That's all for today. This has been Molly Simmons
And Sean Taylor.
Good night.